Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make graphics in Illustrator. So this right here is a graphic I made in Illustrator. Actually, this was the first time I ever used Illustrator. In Illustrator you can create cute little graphics like this. I also made this. It wasn't my first time, but this was another thing I made in Illustrator. More recently, I made these little graphics in Illustrator just by taking a drawing I did on paper and then tracing it, which is what I'm going to show you how to do today. You can also trace other things, such as photographs. If you're going to trace a photograph that is not your own drawing, you should take the photograph so you're not plagiarizing someone else's work. However, if you don't want to take a photograph, you could actually take you could actually find multiple photos online and compile them into one thing. So what that means is, like, let's say you wanted to make a graphic that was a picture of a desk with some things on it. You could find a stock image of a desk and you could trace that, a stock image of a computer and trace that, a stock image of a file cabinet and trace that, or not a file cabinet, but like the things that you put on desks, right? And whatever. And then put them all together to create one image. But if you're going to use photos that aren't your own, just make sure that you're not replicating that exact photo, but rather that you're just tracing components of it and putting it onto one document to create your own artwork. But the example I'm going to show you today is very simple. I'm going to make a little icon for like a confused face. I drew this on a sticky note, created a new document, clicked and dragged it into Illustrator, and now I'm going to put it on my artboard. And I'm going to lock my layer and create a new one. There we go. Okay, locking the layer by clicking this, creating a new layer by clicking this. So there are a few tools I want to show you today. But before that, I want to say that we will want to work in the Essentials Classic workspace. In InDesign, I always like to work in the Advanced workspace, but in Illustrator, I prefer Essentials Classic. InDesign and Illustrator are very different programs. They do not do the same thing, however, they do share some of the same functions, so they look similar, and there are certain things that you could do in either InDesign or Illustrator, but for this, Illustrator really is the best program to use. I will not be teaching you the entirety of Illustrator today, as that would take a long time, and it's not relevant to what I'm showing you. I will just be teaching you what you need to know in order to create cute vector graphics. Okay, so first thing I need to show you. This is the selection tool. The selection tool is used for selecting things and moving them, just as it is in both InDesign and in Photoshop. This is the direct selection tool. The direct selection tool works with points. So, if I click off of the shape, and then I click onto where one of the points are, I can use the direct selection tool to manipulate this point. I can move it around where I want and create my own little boomerang shape. I can also grab on these to toggle how curved it is and create even more shapes. You know that one point is selected by the fact that all of these are white and this one is red because this one's selected. Okay, this is the shape tool. If you right click it, you will get the rectangle tool, you can get the rounded rectangle tool, and you can get the circle tool. The other three, don't really worry about. I mean, they're less useful. All right, so if I want to create a shape and I want it to be even on all sides, I will hold down Shift while I create it, so now it's even on all sides. If I want to skew the shape and have it remain even on all sides, I will expand it while holding down Shift, and it is still even on all sides. As you can see, it just got warped there because I accidentally let go of Shift. If I don't use Shift while I do that, it will look like whatever I make it look like. Next thing I want to show you is the pen tool. The way the pen tool works. You can basically play connect the dots. You always want to close the shape, because if I don't close the shape, as you can see, there's not a stroke here, there's not an outline. The outline and the stroke, that's the same thing. And that's not good. So you always want to close your shapes. These are your colors. This will swap stroke and fill by clicking this, right? If you ever forget, hover over this and it will say how to do that. The fill is the interior color, the stroke is the outside color. In the properties panel, you could also see stroke and fill and adjust the thickness of your stroke. And if you select with the direct selection tool, you can do it up here too, but you don't need to do that in 3 places. This is your properties panel. It's very important and will come into use in a moment. Okay, so for combining shapes, something very useful I want to show you. I want to show you how to combine and how to align shapes. So, here are 2 shapes. If I want to align them, as you can see, they are not aligned, right? I'm actually going to make this a different color by double-clicking here and then selecting a nice teal color, and I don't want to stroke on this, so I'm going to click here and then click the like empty one. Same thing again. This one's going to be red, and I don't want to stroke. I'm going to just take this off my artboard. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to go my layers panel first. I want to put this one on top, so I can click and drag it up here. If you want to rename it, you can double click, name 1, name 2, there we go. Now they have names. You could also hit command left bracket to put a layer behind and command right bracket to put a layer above. Just depends on what you want to do, or maybe you just want to click and drag, up to you. So let's say I want these to be aligned with one another. Select both by either clicking and dragging a box around it, or by clicking one and then shift clicking on the other one. Whatever you click afterwards will have more gravity, meaning the other thing will go towards it. So if I select both of these shapes and then select both these shapes and then click on this one. Thank you, Julia, for speaking English. My goodness. Then I could use my alignment tools either down here or up here or in my alignment panel. Lots of options. I'll do the same thing to align these shapes. So center align, align behind. There you go. That's how you do it. Slow that down, rewatch it, whatever you want to do. But that's how it works. So again, there we go. So I want to show you now Pathfinder. So if I select both of these shapes, the Pathfinder panel will appear beneath properties. There's also a Pathfinder panel you can go to by going to window and then Pathfinder. I already have it open. It's right here. Up to you. Both do the same thing. Click this for more options. So if you want to combine two shapes into one shape, click this and it will combine them. As you can see, it is now one color because it is one shape. If you want to knock out the one in front, then you could click this and, I already clicked it. Click this and it will knock out the one in front. If you want only the intersection to be visible, click this and it will do that. You could just like the image says. And if you want only the intersection to be absent, click this and it will do that. If you hover over, you can see what it says, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is make this little icon, which is supposed to be like a little confused person, and kind of just walk you through how I'd actually apply these skills. I always like to start with a shape. Well, actually, I'm going to get a color first. I'm going to use, what color would look good here? Pink. We're going to do pink. Okay. I'm going to use these colors. You don't have to select a color palette. I just want to, so I will. There we go. So anyway, I always want to start with a shape because that is just what makes my life easier. I'll make it blue for now just because the paper is pink, but I'll change the color afterwards. Okay, so from the shape, I now want to do the chin. So this is like the base of the head. I shift clicked and held it down. So if you want a point to be curved, right? So I want this to be curved inwards, then you could click and hold when you let go of the point and it will actually curve it for you. Let's say I didn't want it to be curved after I got to this point right here. Actually, no, I do want this to be curved. I'll show you that in a second, but I'm just clicking and holding and pulling out these little things. Okay, so let's say I get here and I no longer want it to be curved, right? You see how it's still curvy and I want this to be a sharp line. Just click on the point and it will go back to being a sharper line. And now I can go up and create a nice, strong jawline. Ooh, yes, look at that jawline. How beautiful. Okay, I will now zoom in a little bit just by either clicking Command Z or by zooming in on a trackpad on a mouse and pull this out so it meets right here. Now it's nice and lined up. I will select both of these shapes and go down here, and now they're one shape. Look at that, nice chin. But as you can see, this is a bit of a sharp angle. So I'm going to go into my direct selection tool. I will click off of it and then back onto only this point and pull it out just a little bit so it's not as sharp of a jawline. That way it looks realistic, and I'm doing the same thing over here. Something else I want to show you really quickly. If I am, let's say I'm making a shape, right? There's a nice shape, and I want one of my points to be curved. Direct selection tool, select one of the points, right? And this will curve your point. So now it's a curved point, and this does the opposite. This makes the anchor point into a corner point, and this is into a smooth curve point. That's kind of important. Also, you might know this already, but Command C is to copy and Command V is to paste. Command Z or Control Z, obviously if you're not on a Mac, will go back. All right, now so I could like turn this on and off if I want to see how it's looking. This is the visible button, like make layers visible. I want to pull this up a little bit, just adjust this by curving it a little bit more. There we go. I think that looks pretty nice. All right, So now I'm going to do the ear. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to go to the pen tool and create the ear. Very, 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 very simple ear. I don't really want to do anything complicated because this is just supposed to be like a little emoji. But you could do like whatever style you want. Just there, I clicked on this point, by the way, to make it not curved. All right, and I'm closing my shape like always. I'm going to move this back, and I want to take the ear, go into select, not direct selection, in order to transform this a little bit. It doesn't look very ear-like, so I'm going to skew it down, click off of it. All right, that kind of looks like an ear. Select both, go to Pathfinder, connect them. Back into direct selection because I want to select this point, kind of curve it a little bit just to make it more realistic because humans have usually like curvier lines on their face. I'm just gonna, also, if you right click this, you can go to the delete anchor tool or the plus. If you want to delete a point, let's say I want to delete this one, or you can hit minus on your keyboard for the keyboard shortcut. You will select the delete anchor point tool and you will delete the point. And look at that, it's all gone. So that looks very nice. I'm going to do the same thing again for a neck. Click, click, hold, out, click back on this, click, 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 connect points. Very good. All right, now I'm clicking A to go back to direct selection. Select 1 point, shift click, select 2 point, and we're going to pull on these, and as you can see, both of them curve because they're both selected. And there we go. Now they have an equal curve on them. And I think that looks pretty nice. So now I will take this, select both once again. Actually, before I do that, I'll select this right here, and I'm going to use, let's use this mid-tone color. I want this to go behind, so I go to my layers panel and I drag it to behind. Click I for the eyedropper tool and select, I want to use this color because it's darker, and I think I want the neck to look like it's in a little bit of a shadow. And I'm going to move this over. Now I'm going to do the hand. All right, so same thing. Point, click, drag out, click up here, drag out because I'm making it a curve, drag out because I'm making it a curve, click back on this to make it an angular point, and down to resemble a thumb, and I'm going to click again to make it an angular point. Make this hand proportional. Don't worry about if it's like too big or not to size. You can always adjust sizing afterwards. Okay, and down here, very nice. So this is kind of like the thumb and the pointer finger. And I'm actually going to do the other one as a separate shape just so the lines don't get confused with one another. Or so my brain doesn't get confused with the lines, rather. The lines don't get confused. I get confused. We're just going to make this guy have 4 fingers because cartoons have 4 fingers sometimes. So that's okay. It's up to me. I'm the artist. I'm going to click up here because I want to get a better curve on that pinky finger. Click here to make an angular point. Click back down. Click and hold. I'm clicking and dragging to curve my points and connect back to there. All right, as you can see, it's a little bit wonky and it's like multiple shapes. So I'm going to click all that, go down to Pathfinder. Oh, actually, no, I made it one shape. That's fine. Okay, cool. But as you can see, it is a bit wonky looking. The thumb looks nice. Everything else does not look nice. So I can make any corrections I need with the direct selection tool and with like the plus and minus pen tools. So I'm going to kind of even this out. I'm going to click on this. Well, actually, no, the curve on that's fine. All right, I'm just kind of evening this out. I'm just adjusting my points so I get them to a point that I like. Haha, get it? Because we're using points? Wow. Bet you didn't think I was going to make that joke, did you? Okay, you know what? Good example right here. This is kind of too curved, so I want to add another point. Clicking on the plus, or by right-clicking this and clicking on the Add Anchor tool, I could add a point onto this track, and I could skew this, or I can move this down, and now there's less of an interference. I'm doing the same thing here. Now I'm going to move this over, and yeah, I'm just making some little adjustments. I'm going to add another point on this line because I want to make the pinky finger shorter, and right now I don't really have enough points to click and drag where I need to. Yeah, there we go. So I'm looking at this and I think it looks pretty good. This part of the hand is a bit smaller than I would have wanted it to be. So I'm going to click on all of these points right here. And I'm actually going to scale this. Or actually, can I do that? No, I can't do that. Haha, this isn't InDesign. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, I think the finger's a bit big, like in comparison to the other fingers. So I can move both of these down just by selecting both. Okay. And you know what? I just decided I would like to add another finger at the end, so this doesn't look like a middle finger, because that would not be appropriate. So I can simply just draw another finger on this side. Also, I'm always worse at doing these things when I'm on camera. And then I could use my selection tool to kind of add it in, right? And I know this doesn't look right yet, just stick with me. Selecting all of this, going down to Pathfinder, connecting it, and obviously, that didn't work. There you go. Obviously, there's this big gap here. I'm going to use my minus tool, and I'm going to pull it outward, and I'm going to extend the hand this way by doing exactly what we've been doing the entire time, which is just adding and deleting points as I see that it's necessary. And this is like, it takes trial and error. It isn't like you're going to get it on the first try, probably. And the first couple times you do this, you'll probably think, oh my god, Julia gave me the most impossible assignment, and I hate this. But after you get used to it, you'll realize it's a useful skill. So this doesn't look like the best, but it's pretty good for now. You could also use the arrow keys, by the way, to adjust these. And yeah, that's pretty much like where I want the hand to be for now, I believe. I think it's like pretty hand shaped. So yeah, I'm going to select the hand and do the eyedropper tool and kind of now get it to the right place. I'll fix the knuckles off camera, but I think it's okay for now. Scale this down. I'm holding shift so it stays even. I'm going to tilt this because it's a very, very big hand for the size of this chin. Okay. Not looking bad. I'm going to make the face. Face is very easy. For this, I only want a stroke, so I'll swap stroke and fill. Select the stroke. Actually, no, wait. I want to show you something else first. Haha, just kidding. Okay, so let's say I want to use this color, and I want it to be here. I can actually use the eyedropper tool and just select it, and I could stroke and fill like that, and that's what I want to do. That's what I want to show you. Click a point, click this other point, and I'm holding this down to make a curve. Now it's only a stroke, but it's very thin. But also there's a weird tail on it, so I'm going to hit escape to get out of that, and now I just have this. And it's still selected right, it's selected right now with the selection tool. I'm going to click over here to make it bigger. I could also, I think, make it rounded. Up here perhaps? Yeah, there we go. See, look at that. What a nice little stroke. And I'm going to use this same little stroke tool to do the exact same thing with the, I guess this is an eyelid. I don't know. I've never really thought about that. But yeah, I just eyedroppered this, by the way, to get it to be the same color. I'm going to select up here and select that. I'm just literally going to copy paste this thing and move it over here so I don't have to remake it. And there we go. Very easy. Holding down shift, creating some circles. I will stroke and fill. And now I'm making nice eyes for this person, but I actually want it to be like kind of this shape. So I'm going to just go in here. I'm going to tilt it and duplicate it. Ooh, yeah, look at that. That looks exactly what we wanted it to. I will now select all of these things and hit Command G to group it. As you can see, it has now become a group here in my panel. And I'll put the face on the person. All right, looking pretty good. Yay. All right, but I want the hand to be above the mouth. So I will go into my my layers, and I will do it just like this. I will select, I can actually make this a little bit lighter darker by clicking over here. Or actually, no, you know what? I want to make this like a lighter version. So I'm just going to select this, eyedropper it, make it a little bit lighter. There we go. There we go. That looks better. Yay, how nice. Select all that. Command G to group it. And now I have one item. And something very nice about this is I could take this, Command C to copy, go over to InDesign, Command V to paste, and wow, look, it's in InDesign now. Isn't that incredible, guys? How did that happen? I don't know. Anyway, that's how you do it. For your assignment, I'm going to have you trace a photograph. Now, like I said, we don't generally trace other people's photographs. However, for this assignment, you can do it because we're not posting it anywhere. But I'm going to have you trace this fruit bowl photograph. So you're going to drag and drop it into Illustrator. We're going to lock the layer by clicking here and then create a new layer. And on the new layer, that is, well, I'm going to center this. On the new layer, that is where you are going to begin to trace this. So obviously this is a lot more complicated of a shape, but overall it's pretty simple. So like I would start just by kind of going up. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be your own kind of like artistic interpretation of like what a banana looks like. I don't know. But like you want to just pay attention to like where the colors meet. And I will say doing this assignment will really help you see this shape for more than just what it is. And like you don't have to make it look perfect like a photograph, but maybe you're going to want to eyedropper the banana to make it like a similar yellow color, you know. There you go, right? And then you could take this section, which is obviously a very different shape, drag it down. So I just created another shape, but you can't see it. So I'm going to move it, eyedropper, and then move it back, right? You see? Wow, look at that. It's starting to almost resemble what I'm trying to make. Crazy how that works. You will need to use your layers panel to kind of layer the pieces of fruit on top of one another. But that's why I gave you this assignment, because I want to show you kind of how to do that. But right now, I'm just showing you. I'm not going to do this entire assignment on camera because this is your assignment, not mine. This isn't actually for any sort of graphic. It's literally just for practice because I want you guys to learn how to do this. So I'm just kind of showing you like about what your project should look like. So like you don't have to create anything too intense. It doesn't have to look like a photograph, but literally like that's fine for a start. For the apple, same thing. Like you don't have to use shapes. If you want, you could just use the pen tool. There's no one right way to do this. There are a lot of wrong ways to do this, but I wouldn't say that there's particularly a correct way. So yeah, I think this is pretty straightforward. Hopefully this little video has instructed you properly. Thank you for watching this. But yeah, so happy doing this. If you want to go above and beyond, you can, you know, add a little bit of shine, right? Like just make it recognizable for what the image is, and it is your own artistic interpretation. This is artwork. This is not math. So yeah, anyway, happy designing and good luck.